Hey, fellow mathers. Welcome to the podcast where math is figure-outable. I'm Pam, a former a former mimicker turned mather. I got it.
And I'm Kim, a reasoner who now knows how to share her thinking with others. At Math is Figure-Outable, we are on a mission to speak well and to improve math teaching.
And I'm going to take a deep breath. We know that algorithms are amazing historic achievements, but they're not good teaching tools because mimicking step-by-step procedures can actually trap students into using less sophisticated reasoning than the problems are intended to develop. I have to take the biggest breath for that one.
You need it. In this podcast, we help you teach mapping, building relationships with your students, and grappling with mathematical relationships.
We invite you to join us to make math more figure-outable in really long sentences that take a lot of breath.
You keep saying that. Just change it.
I mean, it's such a good sentence, though. I mentioned that to, who did I mention it the other day? And they were like, no. That sentence like capsulates the whole podcast. I was like, all right, fine. Here we go. Cool.
Well, we're dead smack in the middle of summer for us. So you have freedom to stumble over words for a little bit. There's been a lot going on.
I've been working out. It's not like I don't have breath. Anyway.
That's great. Okay, listen, I say on a regular basis that I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about because I really do love the things that we talk about. We have all the words.
Which is why we're willing to do a podcast, because we actually enjoy it, right?
Yeah, for sure. It takes some time. So I say that a lot, but I really, really think the teachers are going to love what we're going to talk about today because,
super helpful.
It is so helpful. Yeah, super helpful. If you have not heard of Sembl, you are missing out. I'm going to share all about it today.
Yeah, let's spell that. S-E-M-B-L, Sembl, as in assemble.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is exactly what it does. Yeah.
That's exactly what it does. So, Kim, we know the creator, the CEO, the mastermind, the guy who's in charge, James, Micklebust, Hampshire. I probably just slaughtered his name.
I think you actually got it. Yeah.
Okay. So James, I got the James part, right?
Yeah.
I think you met him first. I think you are the one who found James. Tell us about that.
Actually, I think he sent me a message and I don't remember what platform, probably Twitter. Anyway,
pick a social media.
I do not mind sharing about this because he's kind of snarky and sarcastic and fun. But he sent me a message and it was really long and we get a lot of questions. You get tons of questions, but occasionally I get some. And but he asked some global questions at the time, and I gave some answers. He was asking about something that happened in his classroom and like a problem string or something. And he asked some global questions, and I gave him some answers. And then, like almost immediately, he came right back, and his questions were narrower and deeper and better. Like they were so much more detailed. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And
that intrigues you, right?
Yeah.
You
like, I just cocked my head to the side, like, okay. And so then he was telling, I can't remember exactly what the detail was, but it was something maybe about a problem string he had done. And what was noteworthy to me at the time was that I kind of made a tweak or a suggestion. And he was like, of course. Like, yes, that's what I was missing. Like that hits home. And he kind of heard what I was saying and he implemented. And anyway, so we just started going back and forth. And at some point I think I said to you like, hey, you should check out this James guy. Like, I think he's really good. And I think at the time you're probably as busy as you always are. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I can't remember like where it went from there. Because he was teaching at the time. And actually then at some point he was on leave. And so anyway, we just kind of started to get to know him and did some work with him. And
yeah, I remember getting on a Zoom with him and chatting with him. He has a delightful British accent and he's super funny, like you said, snarky. We went back and forth with some things. And then all of a sudden we needed some help with a project. And you and I were talking and I was like, what about, and I think at the same time, we both were like, James. And so we reached out to him and he was able to help us with the project. It was amazing. We're super glad to have him involved. And then we've kind of gone from there. At one point he contacted me and he said, hey, I have this idea. And I was like, tell me about your idea. And he said, I think, how there's like all of these really good creators that have this free stuff out there. He said, you've got problem strings and As Close as It Gets and Relational Thinking on your website that are free. Anybody can download. Your math strat chat problems are out there. You put them on there for free. He's like, other people have really good stuff that's out there. And as a teacher, because he's a teacher, I said, as a teacher, I'm always gathering that stuff and trying to fit it together. And when would I use this, which one doesn't belong, or this splat, or this math flip, or in fact, I think he said that he found Berkeley Everett and math flips, and that Berkeley, thanks Berkeley, turned him on to us. I think that's how he found
Yep.
Math is Figure Outable.
Yep.
And if I remember right, we love Berkeley, nice guy, and fantastic stuff. Math flips are amazing. And where was I? Oh yeah, he said, so as a teacher, he's gathering all this stuff all the time, and he's like, I wish there was a site that would that creators that are putting free stuff out there anyway could put their free stuff on, and so teachers could have access to all that stuff in one place, and we could just sort of assemble it together and kind of keep track of it. And that way next year I wouldn't have to like, where was that? And the link is broken and all this stuff. And like, and what if it was all together? Pam, what if I created this site that could, like, would that work? And I was like, dude, that sounds like an amazing idea. I think absolutely. So Kim, tell us, what is Sembl?
I'm just going to take the words from his site. It says, all in one place, organized by grade level and topic, you'll be able to discover, launch, and save incredible tasks like never before. And I think he described it well. Teachers don't have near enough time to do everything they're asked to do. But, we know a lot of really good teachers who see things all over the place. Like, we are bombarded with ideas, and they come from every part of social media, and friends want to share things, and you're constantly creating. And even if you're choosing really good warm-ups and games and fluency tasks and blah, 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 you're kind of pulling from all over. And, sometimes you're like, you'll grab one and you're like, is it good? I don't know. I got to try it. We'll see. And so I think this is such a brilliant idea to assemble really good stuff. And when we say really good stuff, we're kind of discerning about what we think is really good stuff. And I think he's made really purposeful choices. This is not the place where anything goes. You can find whatever you want. I think, I have not explored every single thing that's there, but I click on stuff and I'm like, yep, I would use that. Yep, I would use that. And I think he would say the same. And so I think he has been quite discerning about what he wants to assemble in Sembl, and has gathered some really great people. And so I think teachers can feel free to say, like, I go to this place and I can find something that fits with what I'm going to do. And we can talk later about how you do that, but you don't have to have like a full filter on. Like, somebody has done some of that filtering for you. And so I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple just particulars about the site. You can get on there and see the different creators who have put on other things. In each of those, if you click on one of them, there are teacher notes. I think most of the time there are explainer videos. I don't know that it's all the time, to kind of help you get a feel for what they are. If you join Sembl as a member, and he calls them Semblers,
which is fun. Yeah.
It's totally fun. Then they get access to what he calls a playlist hub, which is a collection of pre-made task sequences. So Kim, if anyone's ever listened to the Math is Forgettable podcast, they know that I'm all about sequencing. Problem strings are sequences of problems. And then I like to sequence problem strings with rich tasks and then sequence those into sequences of, like, I'm all about progressions. And that was one of the things that when he came to me, he's like, I find these things, but it was so cool if I could assemble them in a sequence and then not have to redo that sequence, and literally not have to go, okay, I'm going to go to Wybernie's site today and pull up his thing. And then I'm going to go to Pam Harris's and pull up that thing. And then I'm going to go to Jenna Laib's Slow Reveal Graphs and pull up that one. He's like, what if we could put them all in one place where I could just run my lesson? You're not, it's all right there in Sembl. And so, so if you join, you get access to that playlist hub, which has a collection of pre-made task sequences, and the ability to create unlimited custom playlists. And you can also add your own tasks, because I'm sure someone out there is thinking right now, well, yeah, but I got my own stuff. And so then, I've got these things I'm putting in Sembl, but then how do I put you can like put your own in there so that you have like a playlist. You like literally, it's kind of your lesson plan. You can open
Yeah.
up that playlist and bam, there's your lesson plan for the day, and you've assembled it in this super cool place.
Yeah.
One other technical thing, he also offers a Sembl Schools.
Uh-huh.
So it's a collaborative space for teachers to share and organize the playlists that they have for their school or their grade level or their district or whatever, and they can integrate them into whatever scope and sequence they already kind of have.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a delightful opportunity that I think he's really onto something. And I think the only thing that really needs to happen now is for more people to hear about Sembl. I mean, y'all, you can get the free level and get a ton of access. You can join and get even more capabilities and stuff. I think if I was in a high school classroom today, I would definitely be trying to have the same kind of thing so that I'm not, because I do like to reach for Robert Kaplinsky's open middle. And I do
Yeah.
like to reach, for these creators, really cool things and pull them together. Now that I said that, I should say so far, he's really got K6 resources, but I'm sure that's only going to blow up he's just started. And the more that this goes on, hey, so in fact, maybe I could just say, if you are a creator and you're saying to yourself, hey, how come my stuff's not on there? It's just because he hasn't gotten to you yet. So by all means, reach out. I'm not even sure how to reach out. I'm sure there's a contact on the website. Yeah. So Sembl, SEMBL.app is where you can get to Sembl, SEMBL.app. Contact him and say, hey, I'm a creator, and, like, get your stuff on there. That'd be fantastic. I know he's looking to get, it really is all about giving teachers this opportunity to have it's the free stuff that's out there anyway. It's just in one place. So now you can
Yeah.
assemble it, make these playlists and stuff.
Yeah.
And Tim, he's got amazing creators already. Like, if
Yeah,
you
I
look
was gonna
on,
say, will you tell us a few. Like, why, we're talking about how, like, this is a great thing, and
yeah,
teachers listening, and they're like, okay,
like
what's there for me?
exactly. Yeah. So if you just look at the creator list, I'll just mention a few folks that I know, and I know their stuff. Robert Kaplinsky's got things on there. Fawn Wynn has stuff on there. Graham Fletcher, Michaela Epstein. If you're in the United States and you haven't heard of Michaela Epstein, she's down under in Australia, has some super cool tasks. I think she's got some really clever things. Jenna Labe and Slow Reveal Graphs. Chris Hogbin. Hey, we talked about Chris Hogbin last week with Number Hive. Chris Hogbin on here has some of his Number Hive downloads. If you wanted to have some of those, here's a place where you can get some of his Number Hive downloads. That in itself would be worth you signing in for the free access to just be able to look at things like that. Yeah, and others like the
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and Pam, I'm gonna admit that there are some names on here that I'm either not familiar with at all or
Mhm.
barely familiar with, and I'm excited about that because that means that James either knows their work or has worked with them in some way, and it opens up more for me that has already been filtered a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
said, like, I
Thanks
don't.
for doing the work, James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Because there are so many things that we can use that I already know about, but I'm always looking for, like, a little bit of fresh, like a little bit of new, so that
Mhm.
we can change things up in small ways. And so I'm excited about some of the things that I'm seeing that I don't know as well.
And
Yeah,
maybe I'll mention also, if you don't join the paid version, you can still make favorites, and so there's still
yeah,
lots of great ways for you to be able to find the ones that you've already tagged. I'm super excited about the opportunity to make a playlist for me when I go in to do a workshop. I can have a playlist already ready to go for that particular workshop. For a different
uh-huh.
workshop, I can create playlists already ready with things like Math Flips from Berkeley Everett. So where he's got the actual math flips in there. Steve Wyberny's got splat examples in there. I'm trying to think of
Um,
what else I've got. Go
Well,
ahead.
I'm going to interrupt and say
Yeah.
that I see a Pam Harris picture on here, and what's really cool is when you click on your creator playlist and you scroll down, there are, I don't know, like 10
A
or
bunch.
so different problem strings that
Bam.
you can click on a particular problem string, and there is a download that has a string and questions and facilitation notes and the sample final display. So people are like, hey, how do I get more of those? In Sembl, there are
Check out
some
Simple. Yeah.
free things that you can access. And I also want to say,
Oh,
like,
before you leave that, let me mention, as soon as we can breathe, we're going to put some more problem strings in Sembl.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
coming with some more
It's a growing
resources.
place.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's okay. And listen, we have done some episodes in the last couple of months about things that we love, and I'll speak for myself. I don't actually know. I don't think you do. Like, we're sharing things that we love, not because there's any kind of like kickback or affiliation or whatever. Like, we love these things so much, and if we were in a day-to-day classroom, we would be using these things on a regular basis. And so please don't hear this as like, oh, you should go to them, like, because they asked us to, or we're friends with them.
They didn't.
No, it's good stuff.
In fact,
of them
when we were planning for today, Kim and I were like, hey, we probably should tell these guys that we're gonna that we're gonna talk about their stuff. Like a couple of weeks ago, we did, what was we did Stick and Split, I think, and then we did Number Hive, and now we're that was I think that was a couple of months ago that we did those two games, and now we're doing Sembl, and so we'll probably tell them when we do it, so that they're
quality resources, and everybody needs to know about them. So yeah, and what's really cool is I absolutely think that they're worth the purchase. And you can support somebody who's creating great stuff, but there are also some free things that they have, to access and get you in. And anyway,
and teachers, tell your leaders the Sembl school option is a fantastic. It's really affordable for a school to get in on it. And then you can have common playlists with your colleagues at your grade level. You can have common playlists between schools. There's lots of really nice collaborative opportunities available that man, if I was in a classroom right now, I would be really pushing for that school option, so that we could collaborate together and also kind of know what each other are doing. For example, if I'm doing a third grade thing, I might want fourth grade to know we did that this year. So they don't do the exact same one next year, right? This is a great opportunity for people to be able to collaborate across grade levels. But it's also, you might be like, I'm a singleton here, like, help me. It's also a great opportunity for a teacher, no matter where you are in the world, to have access to a lot of amazing things from these amazing creators out there all in one place. Where instead of trying to look out all over everybody's different website, bam, you can find their stuff here. Like Kim said, find new people, things that you hadn't ever seen before. In fact, I'll just mention one new person. Kim, when we were looking at this, you mentioned that you'd looked at these if-then tasks.
Oh, yeah.
That are on
those
there.
Are James's. Yeah.
And they're James. And so if you've never heard of James, then you can check out some of the tasks that he's created. Clever guy, has created some good stuff. So yeah, we're going to recommend it for the sake of just helping everybody have a resource that is super helpful.
Yeah, there you go. So one place to get a ton of stuff from a lot of amazing creators. Thank you, James, for your contribution to bettering math education all over the world.
So y'all, check out Sembl.app. And thank you for tuning in and teaching more and more real math. To find out more about the Math is Figureoutable movement, visit mathisfigureoutable.com. And keep spreading the word that math is figureoutable.